Hello, thank you for showing an interest in becoming one of our editors. I'll give you a brief overview of what we're looking for. We're looking for people who, with some basic training about what we want, can take clips from Google Drive. Sometimes they'll already have a rough cut, sometimes they'll just be completely raw clips, sometimes they might not even be labeled that well, there might be issues with the audio or the video quality. There's going to be a load of various issues. We get videos from a lot of different people, some of them are better than others. The ones that aren't so great, it's going to be your job to make that video good enough for the site. I don't really mind what editing software you use, I'm really only interested in the final product. Is the tutorial good enough for the site? You'll also be getting mindset talks, so those should be quite a lot easier. It will just be a video of someone talking in front of a camera, and you'll just have to cut it down, make sure there's no swears or anything like that, make sure it all makes sense, there's no repetition. Try to cut out ums and ahs whenever you can, but not in a way that disrupts the flow of the video. Also, if someone references a gathering or another tricker, you can put some clips of that tricker over the top to spice it up a bit, make it a little bit more interesting. So in general, that's what we're looking for. If you're a member of the site, that's really going to work in your favor, as you'll already have a good understanding of what we want our videos to look like and how we try and get information across. If not though, feel free to apply anyway. You can check out our videos on the Kojo's Trick Lab YouTube channel if you want to get an idea of what I mean by some of the things I'm about to tell you. So we'll go right from the start. Our little title sequence, you may have seen it, it's just a click with the Kojo's Trick Lab logo and all of that. I've put the project file for that in the Google Drive folder, so you can use that if you want to. If you want to create a new intro title, then yeah, that would be really appreciated. If you can make a really good one, then that will definitely stand out to us, but it's not necessary, you don't have to do that. I've also put our logo in the Google Drive file, which will need to be on the video as the watermark just in the bottom corner. So yeah, make sure you do that. What we want you to do with the edit is try and split up the videos into sections. So you'll have your prerequisite section, progressions, maybe a technique breakdown. Some tutorials go into detail on what to do with just your arms, and then you could have a section for what to do with your spotting, what to do with your legs. It really depends on the tutorial that you're looking at or the mindset talk. But ideally, we want you to split it into sections to make it as digestible and easy to watch as possible. This is the bit where tricking knowledge is really going to work in your favor. Whatever the tricker's explaining, you need to demonstrate that on screen. So you need to use example clips to show what they're talking about. If the tricker's saying to take off in a completely upright position, then you should show a video of them coming out of their setup and hitting that upright position. Pause on that position, zoom in on it, just bring attention to it. You want to create visual aids to help explain what the tricker is explaining. Also try to use a little bit of text on the screen to really hammer home what the tricker's saying. And for our viewers who have English as a second language, this can really help them to understand what's going on better in the tutorial. So for example, if they were saying to take off upright, then you could freeze on them in that upright position and then just have in text, make sure you take off in an upright position. Avoid leaning back, anything like that. Anything that's going to help hammer the point home. After a trick's been explained, I like to show the trick in full and freeze at different parts during the trick and add text saying what the tricker said to do at that point. If the tricker said they need to spot in a certain position, then freeze on the trick, spotting in that position, and maybe have some text on the screen saying to spot this point on the ground. As they're in the air, freeze at that point. If the tricker said to make sure you have straight legs, then have a caption saying make sure you straighten your legs at this point, try to point your toes if possible. Little things like that. We want you to be able to add to the tutorial. Lots of the time, our tutorials are 50% information from the tricker and 50% additional information from me, kind of breaking it down in more detail using captions. So ideally, we want people with an in-depth knowledge of tricking. That's really going to help. You don't need to be an expert when it comes to tricking knowledge, but you do need to be able to understand what's being said by the tricker in the video and get that point across. So you need to know what they're talking about. You need to know the tricking terms. You want to know what a semi is and what a rechamber is and what a mega is and all of that stuff. So if this is something you think you're going to be capable of and you think you're the right person for the job, then make that video, send it to me within 3 days. And if you make it through our selection process, then we're going to do Skype interviews with you to select who we want. If you don't think you're going to be able to do this every single week, then don't apply, as we need someone who's going to be able to consistently edit these videos. We need someone really reliable, who's always going to get them in on time, and who's always going to do a good enough job. Ideally, I'm looking for someone who's going to make videos as good as I make them or better.